Typically, when you create a newsletter or a story in InDesign, you're going to want to set up your master page first before you begin putting all your information in. However, we're going to go ahead and use this editing document. We're going to open this up and we're going to add our master page to this before we start adding other elements. First thing I'd like you to do though is do a file save as, and we're going to create a third document here where we're creating our master page. So I'm changing the file name, period number, underscore your last name, underscore master page, and then click save. Alright, so the first thing I want you to do is we're going to try to be consistent with the colors we choose, and I want to choose this same dark green that's in this text box. So if I come over here and I can see my fill and I can see my stroke, and actually maybe I will want to use my stroke color instead of my fill color. So I'm going to click on the stroke and I'm going to look at the colors over here on the side to see what they are. So I can see that under the C it's 55.29. Yours may be different, remember, because I didn't give you an exact color. So you're just going to want to write yours down so that you can remember them. But that's how I'm doing it. Okay, I'm using the stroke color. Now I'm going to go here in my Pages panel and I'm going to go to the A Master. So I'm going to double click on that. Now remember the A Master, this is showing us the left page and the right page, and whatever we put here is going to go throughout our spread. And I want a rectangle to be at the bottom of the page, or pages rather, that is going to go off into the bleed, or bleed off the page rather. Let me rephrase that. And it's also going to have a page number in there. So I'm now going to get my rectangle tool. And I want to make sure that you understand that there is a difference between the rectangle tool and the rectangle frame tool. We want to use the rectangle tool. Okay? So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to start down here actually at the bottom left side where the bleeds meet. Okay, so I'm going to start there, and I'm going to drag up until my height equals 14, basically 14 point. Okay, and you can see, look how I'm looking at this ruler right there. I'm actually using that ruler as a guide. So it's going to be the same height as where that ruler is. Okay, and then you see I went all the way off the screen to the right, or into that bleed. Now, I'm going to need to select that rectangle, and I'm going to need to come here into my colors, of course. And first off, I don't want a stroke color on this, so I'm going to hit that white box with the red line through it. Then I'm going to click on the fill color. At the moment it's a gradient. Okay, if I click on that black, it fills it with black. I need to go to the CMYK so that I can get these numbers up. And I'm going to put in the numbers that went with my color. And that was, for me, 55.29, then a 0, then 87.45, and a 0. Oops, 0, not 100. There we go. All right, now you can actually see here in the thumbnail how we have this light green going on every page. Okay, now the next thing I need to do is I'm actually going to put in page numbers. And where I want the page numbers is I want them, they need to be, remember we talked about text needing to be inside the margins. So I'm actually going to have the text right here and right here. So I'm going to start off Remember, our first page is a right page. Okay, so I'm going to start off by getting a text box, and I'm going to put it right there. Okay, and I'm going to type in page space, and then I'm going to do a Command A because I want to make sure that my page or my type is the same type as throughout, and it is times regular 12 point. Okay, and it's black. Now, I can't just type page 1 or page 2 because if I do that, then each page is going to be that page number. I have to put in a special code for that. So in order for me to do that, I am going to go up to Type menu, and I'm going to find Insert Special Characters, Markers, and you'll see where it says Current Page Number. I'm going to choose that. Now, let me zoom in a little bit just so you see. Where I have my text box here, okay, and I'll click on that so you can see the text box. The text is aligned at the left-hand side. So it makes this look like it's showing up in the middle of the column, which is a little off. So what I actually want to do is I want to double-click, and I want to align this to the right side of that text box. And now you can see that it is showing up over here at the right. I'm also going to reduce the size of this text box a little bit, and I'm going to use the arrows on my keyboard, and let me zoom in again so that you can see real close. I want where it says page A. Do you see how it sits right on that margin? That's where I want it. Okay? So now that I have it there, I'm actually going to hold down my Option key, and I am going to, actually I'm going to zoom out first. I'm going to hold down my Option key, and notice how my cursor, or my mouse, now has two arrows, a black and a white. That's allowing me to make a duplicate copy, and I am going to drag it straight over there, and then I'm going to double click inside of it, and I'm going to left align, and I'm going to zoom in again because I do need to make sure that the text is at the bottom margin, and it's not. Okay, so the easiest thing for me to do to make sure that these show up in the same place, I'm going to select that. I'm going to hold Shift and select that one. I'm going to use my Align tools up here in my options to align the bottom edge, and you can see now that they both sit on the margin. Okay, now this is where most new users from InDesign get in trouble because they see this blank page here and they think, well, let me just continue typing here. You don't want to. If you type anything more in here, it's going to show up on every single page. And remember, we don't want that. So now we need to go back into our spread. Okay? Now, the first thing I want you to notice is now that we're back in the spread, this colored text box that we put in, it's probably a little bigger than we need it. Okay? I'm going to go back here, and I am going to, using my ruler over here at the left, I'm going to drag the top edge down right there to this marker. Okay? That's where I want it. Now I'm going to go back there. Okay, now the text is still on top of it, which we don't want. So now I need to bring this text box up a little bit. okay, so that it does not cover the text, or sorry, the green, okay? And if I go to the next page or the next spread, I'll have to do the same. And I'll do that on each column. Until they are all fixed. Okay, and at this point we have, it's almost 1, 2, 3, 4 full pages. Okay, so now that our master page is done, and I want you to notice that the page numbers are correct. They correspond with what page it is. Okay, so that's a good thing. And every page number is correct, and we have the decorative element at the bottom with the rectangle bleeding off of the page. So we're going to go ahead and save this, and then we're also going to save it as by exporting as a PDF and export. When I close it, I have a third InDesign file, which I think is, yep, that one. And then I have my PDF. And if I open the PDF and look at it, I can choose, what do I want to choose? Fit width? No, that wasn't it. I always forget what it is. Zoom to page level. There we go. Okay, so this is what the page looks like right now. You can see this again, bleeding off. I can go to the next page. There's page 2, page 3, 4, and then 5 is blank right now, which is fine. It's something we'll fix later. Okay? So you can go ahead and close that, and in the next video we will put in some images and work on alignment.